peeing on the side of the road. She's just peeing on the side of the road. Peeing on the side of the road. She's just peeing on the side of the road. Oh,
Babe,
yeah.
I can't pee when you're singing.
What if I sing like Elvis? Can you pee if I'm singing like the king? Are you peeing right now
Yeah. Sing like the king, baby.
on the side of the road? Are you peeing, peeing right now?
Brandon, late 20s, Caucasian, personable, the kind of man who is always eager to, as he says, talk about what matters, stands against his 2002 tan Honda Accord, wearing a long-sleeve, faded Boston College t-shirt. The soft trickle of pee hits the faded dirt. Eleuthera, mid-20s, African-American, light brown skin, cool, laid back, engaging, wearing a thin leather jacket, sundress and boots, sits cramped down, using the nearby car as shelter from oncoming potential traffic and potential perverts. She continues to pee, blissfully, until she closes her eyes for a moment, fading into a quick urine utopia. When she finishes, she opens her eyes again, staring at the woods, her focus slowly zooming into the thick woods as the audio of the world begins to slowly fade out.
I'm driving for a while, cannot feel my butt. There's nothing in this place. Am I driving straight through hell? There's no one here with me. Oh, wait a second, I see a crow. That bird is now my friend. I'll call him Harold the Crow.
The tan Honda zooms along the long, skinny, open road. Brandon driving, Eleuthera and shotgun, the back seat filled to the brim with luggage and bags, one of which has an open bag of corn chips poking out the top of it.
And on our left, you'll see our world-famous Whole Lot of Nothing.
Ooh.
And on our right, you'll see the very lovely and scenic Whole Lot of Nothing.
Ah.
I mean, wow, is there anything around here?
You're looking at it, baby.
Yeah, good call on the food stock. Might be a little secluded around these parts.
Nice little southern twang there.
Oh, you caught that there, did you?
Eleuthera kicks her feet up while grabbing another handful of corn chips, staring out into the empty fields. The sun briefly shines brighter on the fields before turning back to what seems to be its standard operating grey decor.
Bringing back any memories?
Nope.
How old were you the last time you were up here?
I couldn't even tell you.
Do you hear that?
What?
That, my dear, is the sound of a good old-fashioned adventure on the horizon. Woo! Woo! Yeehaw!
They continue driving down the dirt road as Eleuthera looks deeper into the woods out her window. A tiny map, highlighted by Brandon's finger, pointing on Louisiana Highway 139, slowly drags along the route.
Shouldn't be too long. We may want to stop off somewhere, though, if you see a spot. Maybe grab some extra water, eggs, anything else we might need tomorrow morning. Elle?
Brandon turns towards Eleuthera. She is sitting back in her seat, staring out the window at something which has garnered her whole attention. Brandon looks ahead, trying to track her sight. On the rear bumper of the old pickup truck in front of them is a tiny Confederate flag. Brandon turns back to look at her. Brandon can feel her pain. It's palpable. She seems hurt. Brandon turns back, looking straight ahead, and kicks it into gear.
Eat crow, asshole!
Brandon floors the car past the pickup truck, leaving it in the literal dust. As they peel away, Brandon checks back in his rearview mirror, drenched with adrenaline.
Brandon!
Ooh!
The tan Honda Accord drives up the lip of the front patch of grass before the engine is shut off. Brandon and Eleuthera get out of the car, looking up at their new surroundings. The house is an older, very modest one-story home, approximately 400 square feet, located at the front of large open fields, surrounded on the extended periphery by woods on all sides. Brandon half sarcastically puts his arm around Eleuthera, trying to instill a winking sense of comfort at their new, ominous, secluded surroundings.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Na 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 na.
Brandon enters with his backpack, suitcase, big bag of groceries, beaming with excitement. He walks into the house, taking a quick glance around before opening the nearby bathroom, turning on the light, poking his head in, turning off the light, and then heading back into the main space of the house. His smile magnifies.
Hey. Oh, okay.
Brandon casually puts his keys, which have a Swiss Army knife attached to them, on a tiny old rusty key hook off the wall as he continues into the kitchen. He puts down the groceries before finally turning back to see the living room, which is littered with old Southern African-American artifacts, chalk paintings, boxes, dolls, musical instruments, small silver-framed pictures, all along the walls. The house is very compact, with a minimal amount of furniture. A rocking chair in the corner next to a small, deep red love seat. The floor is covered with a large, old, dust-ridden rug. The intoxicating pattern of the rug makes you feel you are inside of Alice's Wonderland. The vibrant colors of everything inside the living room blends into an almost hypnotic aura. All the blinds are quickly opened by Brandon. Brandon looks at his now very dusty hands and blows the dust off the curtain handles.
Phew. Ooh. Oh.
After opening the curtains, there is a decent amount of shade flowing in from the back, the large living room window providing a portal into the vast green, empty fields.
Wow, babe, we got space.
Eleuthera remains standing by the front door. She turns to look down the narrow hallway, leading towards a closed room at the end of the hall. As she stares, her line of vision seems to shrink, as if the walls were caving in. Similar to when she was by the side of the road, the sounds of the world begin to fade out. Eleuthera jumps when her shoulder is touched by Brandon's hand.
Oh, Jesus, you scared me.
Hey, check this out.
Brandon darts away, nearby, as Eleuthera follows him.
Look at this little devil.
Brandon is holding a tiny framed photo of young Eleuthera, no more than 5 years old, sitting in the middle of several other framed family photos on top of the mantel. Eleuthera looks at her boyfriend, enjoying this moment.
Even back then you had a great ass.
Oh, you sweet little pedophile.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, yes.
What?
No TV.
My grandma? Hell no.
Hell yeah.
Brandon looks up at the far end wall. Brandon lasers in towards the paintings of people, all African American of different ages, wearing spiritual, almost tribal attire, standing together in fields, wearing bright, vibrant clothing. This particular set of pictures appears to be from a long time ago.
Relatives?
Friends, villagers, slaves. People who didn't have money would pay with homemade gifts, like paintings,
Pay for what?
medicine.
You didn't tell me she was a doctor.
She wasn't. More of a guide.
My kind of woman. Whoa.
Brandon walks over to get a better look at the paintings before seeing something down below him, sidesteps over towards the artifacts, bent down, getting an up-close view of an African-American doll, about 2 feet tall, with dark brown skin, dark black hair, bright red lips, navy blue suit.
Whoa, what? Now, this guy.
Rand, be careful.
I'm being careful. Whoa.
Brandon almost knocks a bowl off a nearby dresser when he turns to face Eleuthera, and then freezes as she stands there, staring at him, nervous.
Whoa, careful. Starting now.
Eleuthera and Brandon, now standing in the back, looking out into the large open field of grass in front of them. The wind picks up a bit, providing a nice, soothing breeze.
We should unpack.
Yeah.
All of the luggage still where it was previously, sitting in the dark living room, untouched. Brandon, laying down with his head in Eleuthera's lap, both of them laying on a big blue beach towel, staring up at the stars, the only light emanating from the small joint Eleuthera is smoking from. Eleuthera puts the joint down towards Brandon's lips, who turns slightly to grab it with his mouth and drag, the orange spark briefly lighting up his face as Eleuthera begins to softly scratch the top of his head.
I love this weather.
You want to know the reason you love the fall so much?
Because I was born in the fall?
I've told you this before?
Yep.
While smoking?
Yep.
Uh-huh. Well then.
Brandon hands the joint back to Eleuthera, who grabs it with her scratching hand, to drag, soaking in the silence, staring up at the stars for a few moments. Eleuthera smiles.
No neighbors.
No neighbors.
No honking.
No honking.
No sirens.
No sirens.
No answering machine.
No answering machine.
No hissing radiator.
No hissing radiator.
No worries.
No worries.
No one can hear you scream.
Good thing I never scream.
You'll keep talking like that, you'll never get these pants off.
Take your pants off.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, God, yes. Yes.
Eleuthera's eyes open sharply. She sits up, alert, looks around the room, which is well lit from the blue moonlight shining down from outside. She looks around and sees Brandon, passed out in the rocking chair, with an old knitted African blanket draped over him. Couple drops of sweat on her forehead. She stands up. Eleuthera has her glass up against the running faucet, trying to make as little noise as possible, letting the water slowly drip out. She turns it off and sips her water, taking down the full glass, reclaiming her breath. Eleuthera looks up, staring out the tiny kitchen window at the open fields, surprisingly well lit from the calming blue tones stretching across the foreseeable landmass. A light turns on behind Eleuthera, reflecting off the small kitchen window she is staring out of, gaining her attention and turning around. The bathroom light is on. A sense of calm hits her, knowing that Brandon is awake too. She sets down her glass and starts to head back over towards the living room, but stops suddenly. Brandon is still sleeping in the rocking chair. She freezes, thinking, how did the light turn on? She takes several steps back over towards the bathroom and slowly pokes her head inside before quickly shutting off the light. When she steps back out of the bathroom, something else catches her attention. The room, her grandmother's room, at the end of the hallway. It's open. It wasn't open before. She's sure of it. She's positive. At least, that's what she tells herself. Staring at the pitch-black room, her focus is drawn back to the hallway. Her breathing becomes more rapid. The walls appear to be caving in. The sounds of the world begin fading out, replaced by another sound. Eleuthera wakes up on the couch, the sun shining brightly down onto her face as sizzles and minor cracks are heard from nearby. Opening up her left eye to glance over, Eleuthera sits up, rotates her creaking neck, sees Brandon frying back in the kitchen, wearing a bandana.
Good morning.
Something smells good.
Country living, baby. Hope you packed your belly.
Country boy cooks breakfast.
City boy cooked breakfast.
City boy never had bacon in his breakfast.
You know I love pigs.
I know, that's why I'm so surprised.
You know they're just as smart as dogs.
Brandon sets down a plate full of breakfast food at the table for Eleuthera. Eleuthera stands up, groggy, looks out at the shining green fields, and then goes to sit at the dining room table.
Coffee?
Yes, please.
Eleuthera pauses. The bacon is now hovering inside her mouth. She puts it down.
How long have you been up?
Early.
You okay?
No, I'm fantastic. I slept so good last night.
In the rocking chair?
Brandon grabs the fresh cup of coffee before sitting nearby. The dining room, which is less of a dining room and more of a table in between the kitchen and living room, is tiny, made out of old but remarkably smooth maple wood.
The energy of this place, it's such a beautiful contrast to my normal army ant mentality. It's really comforting, baby. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too.
How'd you sleep?
Coffee is good too.
I know, right? I'm like, but also still like, oh.
Brandon staring out the window, soaking it all in. Eleuthera smiles, sipping her coffee.
I started reading this. Check it out.
Brandon holds up a nearby book. The cover of the book is dark red, devoid of anything beyond a word she cannot make out from her vantage point.
Narratives about voodoo practices were typically used to demonstrate the threat of black and female rebellion, and were thus used as rationale for the need to regulate communities of color. Voodoo narratives also served as validation of rationalization for white supremacy by portraying the wildness and barbarity of people of African descent, and thus, in contrast, the stableness and intelligence of white people.
Eleuthera continues eating, but at a slower pace.
Nice way to start the day.
These views were used to emphasize the terrors of black voting rights, desegregation, and interracial mixing, especially since white supremacists viewed voodoo as a symbol of the threat of Negro domination. Another ignored bloodstain on our country's resume. Disgusting. Man.
Brandon closes the book and sets it down on the table, running his hand through his hair in disbelief while shaking his head.
All right, we should clean today. Get it out of the way so we don't have to worry about it. Not that we even have to clean that much. It's in pretty remarkable shape considering. Unless you want to play today?
Nah, clean first. Get it out of the way. That's a good call.
This is exactly what I hoped it would be. Makes me even more sorry I never got to meet her. I think we would have gotten along great.
You would have.
Yeah, she would have been all over my ass.
And there it is.
Brandon, washing dishes, handing them towards Eleuthera for drying as they're ready.
Living room and kitchen, or bedroom and bathroom?
I shall choose everything except the bedroom.
2 and 2.
You make breakfast, I'll do 3.
What?
Yes.
Eleuthera kisses Brandon on the cheek.
Unless you feel weird about doing her room.
You know, we can postpone the appraisal. If this feels like too much too soon.
What's too much?
Just being here. I know this can't be easy.
Baby,
What?
I'm fine. We weren't as close as you might think.
You sure?
Plus, we need the money.
We don't need the money. I mean, it'd be nice, but we don't need the money.
Clean time?
Music!
Eleuthera, standing in the middle of the living room, plastic gloves, tank top, basketball shorts, bandana, waiting.
Bran.
Mustn't clean without music.
Brandon, now in a similar dressed-down workout attire, is looking around the music collection of old Southern New Orleans records displayed next to each other under the record player in the corner of the room.
Music is the oil which lights the fire under which our Clorox wipes unites to shine through the dirt. Also, Grandma has a dope playlist.
Can you pick something?
We can probably get some decent change for all these.
Bran.
Not that I would ever sell your grandma's records.
Bran.
I just meant in the hypothetical alternate universe in which we were to sell your grandma's records, we could probably get good money for the records we hypothetically sold.
Bran.
Yep, I want it.
Brandon picks a record and puts it on.
Now, we are cleaning. Woo!
Can you turn it down?
No, neighbors!
Can you turn it down, please?
Oh, is it too loud?
Yes.
Oh, turn it down.
Brandon snaps on his plastic glove as the music continues to play over the cleaning. Brandon opens the closed bedroom and steps inside, stopping to admire the large, exuberant collection of artifacts and paintings all over the walls. Similar to the living room, but even more magnetic, the room is no bigger than 100 square feet, yet seems to have an ocean of history and character within it, stopping you in your tracks, hitting you from all angles with a seemingly endless supply of lineage and culture. The quilt on the bed has square blocks all over it, each block containing the face of a different African American person on it, all various ages and facial expressions. The vacuum is turned on and then pushed up, down, left and right, all over the living room, sucking up whatever small particles of lint or residue can be found, as Eleuthera, unbeknownst to her, begins vacuuming along to the rhythm of the song from the nearby record player. Brandon opens the closet and sees a full rack of very colourful vintage clothing hanging alongside next to each other, over a small dresser underneath it. Brandon soaks it in for a moment, uncomfortable at the thought of touching someone's belongings, before his attention is snatched up by something else. Eleuthera is now fully cleaning along to the rhythm of the song being played, as she scrubs along the floors, kitchen counter, cabinets, any nook or cranny she can find that she deems worthy of a once-over to create some extra sparkle, even though every inch of this house seems to have been left in rather pristine condition. Eleuthera washes her face in the sink, wiping away the recently acquired sweat. She flips down the toilet lid and then sits down, reaching over to put a tiny joint into her mouth and lights it up. She closes her eyes, enjoying this moment of not cleaning. It is a beautifully serene moment of calm. Next to her, the middle of the old white shower curtain begins to slowly expand outward, as if a finger was pressing it from the other side. The size of the shower opening grows, as if the finger has expanded into a hand, a big hand, reaching out slowly towards her. Eleuthera opens her eyes, turns, and the curtain lightly blows backwards. Eleuthera, none the wiser, stands up and opens the shower curtain to reach back and close the tiny window behind it. Eleuthera walks into the bedroom, smiling, but her smile quickly fades away as she looks down.
Where'd you find that?
Closet. Isn't it amazing?
Brandon is sitting on the edge of the bed, holding Skeleton's face with black eyes, acting as the head, with a golden pin sitting atop it, over the spiky red hair shooting out from the top. The rest of the body resembling a gingerbread cookie in color tone, except there are 4 red X's on the body, one on the left arm, one on the right arm, one on the left foot, and one on the right foot. Along the legs and arms are small amulets of various colors.
How old do you think it is?
Put it back.
Must be decades. I mean, maybe even centuries.
Put it back.
Okay. Sorry.
Wash your hands.
Really?
Wash your
washing.
hands.
Washing.
Eleuthera stands there for a moment and then steps out, closing the door behind her. Brandon, sitting on the floor, staring at something.
Brandon?
A master does not rush, for a master sees the true speed of light.
What?
I'm stalling because you're gonna win.
They are playing chess on a board laid out on the floor.
Sometimes I feel so happy.
Sometimes I feel so sad.
Sometimes I feel so happy.
But, yeah, crap. What is the...
Mostly you just make me...
Make me mad. Make me mad. I knew that.
Baby, you just make me mad.
Linger on.
Your pale blue eyes.
Aha!
Brandon finally moves. Eleuthera quickly retaliates.
Nah.
Good game. You're getting better.
I stink.
Brandon goes into the bathroom. Eleuthera lies down on the floor for a moment, staring up at the old rustic ceiling fan, slowly spinning above her, the end tip of the fan string whipping around and occasionally hitting its own tail. Eleuthera turns, unsure where that came from. Eleuthera sits up, turns towards the window, which is being blocked by the curtain, staring at the window, turns to look back at the bathroom, can see Brandon's body half covered by the open door. Back to the window. Eleuthera stands up quickly. Brandon, standing in the living room, scratching his head.
Rematch? Or smoke?
I heard a tap.
Hmm?
On the window, I heard a tap.
A tap?
Brandon goes over to the curtain and opens it wide. Behind the glass is a row of small children with no eyes, blood dribbling out of their empty eye sockets as they keep their faces pressed tightly against the glass.
Pikachu, I see you.
Eleuthera opens her eyes, anxious. Catching her bearings, she sees that she is now sitting outside in the backyard, on a tiny wooden chair, wearing a hooded sweatshirt and sweatpants. Brandon walks outside, holding a tray of cheeses.
Never doubt the man who knows the value of bringing an abundance of cheddar cheese on a vacation.
My man.
Sorry again about the... What was that I touched?
It's okay. You didn't know.
What was it, though? Just out of...
Wenga.
Wanga?
Charm used to poison enemies.
Oh?
You'll be fine. Hopefully.
Honey. What's in them?
Toxic roots from trees, combined with bones, nails, holy water, holy candles, crucifixes.
Oh.
They bring them from Africa and preserve them in Louisiana.
And your grandma would use them in rituals?
Well, she was a voodoo queen.
Hot damn. That is... Damn, hot!
Most of the people who came to her were runaway slaves, so she gave them special charms, amulets, keys, representations to help them escape their captors. Symbols of hope.
Captors?
Voodoo queens had to evoke protection from Jehovah and Jesus so that local Catholics wouldn't protest and hang them for witchcraft.
Amazing. The Catholic Church is busted for essentially running a global pedophilia ring, but is still one of the most powerful religions in the world. Meanwhile, voodoo is wiped off the map because it's being run by poor black people. Another ignored bloodstain on our country's resume.
I lied before.
About...
I do have some memories from here.
Really? Like what?
6 years old. My dad goes out for cigarettes. He came back, though. It isn't that story. Anyway, he goes out for smokes. Leaves me alone with Grandma. It was the first time it was ever just the two of us. Or so I thought. I was coloring in my book in the living room till I heard it. I couldn't tell at first what it was. So I got up and started walking towards the hallway. That's when I heard the chanting. It felt like there were 100 people inside that tiny room. of the person inside the room. Every time they groaned, it felt like they were crawling further and deeper into my skin. So I started walking down the hall towards the bedroom. I couldn't help it. Something was pulling me closer. I had to know what it was. What was it? What could make that sound? It didn't sound human. And when I got right outside the door, I saw 2 feet floating off the ground. That's when I heard this wailing of pain. The scream was so loud, I thought my ears were going to explode. All of a sudden, I see the 2 feet burning. The whole room turned into smoke until it was ash. And then I woke up in a bathtub filled with blood. And all I could do was watch the red water slowly rise above my feet. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I thought I was going to die. The only thing I could do was close my eyes and hope to wake up. And then, when I finally did open my eyes...
What?
I farted in your face.
Oh. Oh my. You sexy butthead. Oh.
It's too easy with you. That's the problem. It's just too easy.
Oh. In my defense, I didn't think you would joke about something like that.
Baby, I think you're severely underestimating the demented nature of my character.